So, yeah, I can see the desktop audio thing working. You do still have the party voice chat thing on screen. So that is covering up part of the track. And actually, I'm seeing everything perfectly fine from here on OBS. So, yeah, there we go. Actually, yeah, that works. So this is what I was talking about initially. All right. Anyways, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to EnduroGT. We really do appreciate you guys just kind of sticking with us as we did run into some technical problems early on, getting the commentary all set up. But we got it fixed now, I believe, so we're just going to go ahead and run with it. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. We are here at the 24 hours of Francorchamps here in Stint, Belgium. It is going to be a fantastic race here today. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Records, and I will be your commentator for Stint 1, as we have 62 laps to go, or 62 laps in general on this stream, so it is going to be an interesting race. We have quite the cast of characters. I'm thinking Jojo, who's currently in P5, making the first pit stop, so that's kind of an early pit stop for the German driver in the Audi R18. He's going to go ahead and come out of the pits now. What if he had damage or something that he had to repair? Now, the Spa pit lane is a notoriously long pit lane, so drivers are going to ideally try to use that pit lane as little as humanly possible in this race. So we have 5 LMP1s with one of them being TCR Kirby having a penalty as he is being chased down by EnduroGT, the Norwegian driver in the Toyota. So we'll see how everything is going to go ahead and play out in today's race. So we have R. Debris, who has currently got a fantastic lead in today's race. Already coming up to the GT3 lap traffic. He's going to go ahead and try to get on through. It is lap 6 out of 62. It's going to be lap 7 is going to win for R. Debris as he's making his way through the GR3 field. And then we're seeing a few of these cars getting blue flagged already. So we have 5 cars in the LMP1 category, and then the remaining cast, I believe it is 8 cars, will be in the GT3 category or GR3 category. Lucian is also making a pit stop. He had massive damage on his car. He's got left suspension damage on the front and the rear, and then he also had front aerodynamic damage. So he's going to go ahead and serve a pit stop. I'm not sure if that's a driver or not, because he didn't change tires to my knowledge. Oh no, it's not. I forget that we are using the endurance pit lane, so it wraps around quite a bit, giving to this track's kind of notorious nature when it comes to how long this pit stop actually is. It's going to be an interesting race. We're seeing a bit of a battle here back down into GT3 field for P7. It's going to be P7 overall, but I believe this is for second place in the GT category, with Jeremy and Legend kind of battling it out now. There's only 6 tenths between them. Now, the big thing to note is that as my, if you guys hear a parakeet in the background, that is my honorary co-commentator for today in this stint. And just to translate from parakeet to English, he was basically just saying that, you know, traffic navigation is such a skill for both the GT3 cars and the LMP1 cars. Because yes, you are getting that blue flag screen on your screen, especially if you're a Legend in Germany who is just getting past now. But you still have to battle it out as a GT3 car while getting out of the way to make sure you don't accidentally impede the car up ahead, being that LM hypercar or LMP1, GR1, whatever you like to call it. So it's an interesting thing. This is why I love multi-class racing. It's just because there's always so many factors you have to factor in. Yeah, you have to have endurance because it is a long race. Even this stint, 62 laps, that's going to take about 2 hours for these hypercars to go ahead and complete. The GT3 cars won't complete as many laps, but they'll still be going around for the same amount of time. And then, even then after that, you know, we got to switch drivers, we got to switch cars. So it's going to be an interesting night. And the TCR Kirby and Legend getting into it a bit. The car in 3rd place battling it out with the car in 7th. I'm not sure if that's just on my end, but Kirby was looking a little jittery, maybe due to some connectivity shenanigans. We'll have to see how that is going to go ahead and play out. Just taking a look through our field here, we'll see who will be on board with in the battle. This was the battle for P10 on track. Caivano, I think I mispronounced that initially, I apologize. And Nolan are going to go ahead and continue fighting the car in 11th place being the Norwegian Mercedes Nolan. I am very sorry, I am seeing some of these names for the first time, so if I do make any kind of mispronunciations, I do sincerely apologize. So here we go. So we're going to go ahead and just continue on here. Nolan has actually dropped about half a second away from Caivano here in the car up ahead, the 10th place car, the number 911 Porsche. Oh, sorry, that's the number 27 Porsche. Bit of a livery issue on my end. But it's unfortunate. It is a glitch. Oh, and Legend's around. Legend was getting into a battle with Jeremy and just got turned all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a replay on my end and see what kind of happened here and just kind of talk it through it. Oh, he just got a little too much on the curb there and just spun around. So that is what happened here. As Legend is going to go ahead and still trying to take over and try to chase down his fellow countryman of Legend. I am, once again, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced any of these names. Yeah, I do apologize if I do mispronounce any of the names. You can always yell at us in chat. And it looks like maybe we might have another battle on our hands here very, very soon in this GT category. Just taking back a look, the LMP1s, or you used to call them the hypercars. The LMP1s have spread out quite a bit. With the furthest one back being XLusion, currently in P5, the Norwegian driver. And the thing about Lusion is we know that he can be a very fast driver. I personally know him from Super Formula. He is currently the championship leader over at Grand Prestige League in the Super Formula category of WEC. So I know this driver, and he's also competing in a domestic series with the Red Bull X 2014 Junior. So we know XLusion does have some kind of affinity for getting used to cars pretty quickly. And all these drivers here, they have to have some kind of adaptability, because that is a very crucial thing when it comes to racing games in general, is you gotta have adaptability. You gotta be able to get used to a new car for a new series pretty quickly. Sorry about that, my voice got a little raspy there. But anyways, ooh, Jojo is almost right up the back of Uvo there. In the Porsche, the Audi driver almost rear-ending him, but there's, I mean, I know he's gonna get blue flags, but really wasn't anywhere for Jojo to really go, as he's once again coming up to lap traffic now. Some drivers are better suited for getting around this lap traffic than others. It's also all about positioning. It's all about, you know, what part of the track you're on, because I mean, there's some parts that are really easy to get past the blue flag traffic. Others, not so much. Like if you come up to the bus stop chicane here, if you are Jojo, then, I mean, he did get the pass done onto Caivano there, but I mean, it's so tricky to really navigate passing in some of these trickier sections, like turn 1, also known as La Source, is such a tricky one to try to overtake this lap traffic on, and you're probably going to lose a bit of time to the car up ahead. As we're going to go ahead and take a look at this GT3 field, see if we can find any battles. The closest battle I have found is for P8 overall. It is Sleeshpins going against Legend, and as Jojo's going to get around this set of GT3 traffic as well, as we are riding on board now with Legend, as he's trying to chase down the Lamborghini Huracan up ahead. He is currently on the Racing Soft Tire compound. So he's gonna have the most grip out of anyone currently that is not running the soft tire, but he's gonna have the worst tire life imaginable. So that is kind of the trade-off you have here for running the soft tire. And there is a blue flag now out for Legend. I think that is another LMP1 behind. Oh no, the blue flag stopped. So I'm not sure that was just a delayed blue flag or... Yeah, no, it's okay. So it's Lucian behind. As R Debris, the current race leader, does go ahead and make a pit stop. So he was on the soft tire. He always got front aero damage. That is what happened. So he's gonna have to go ahead and try to get that fixed. So we'll see. He's gonna make his way into the pits now. For those of you who may be a bit unfamiliar to how the damage system kind of works in Gran Turismo, well, first of all, welcome to the stream. If you guys are new here, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for all the future races that we do. We have 24 hours of racing here today. I am the commentator for Stint number 1. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Reckless GG. I'll take you throughout the entirety of the first stint, but we do have some very excellent commentators coming later on. Some people that I personally know are commentating this fantastic race, and I do want to give a big shout out to EnduroGT for giving us a chance to commentate here for this amazing race. I'm pretty sure for a lot of us, including myself, this is the first time we have commentated for a 24-hour endurance race, or at least for a stint of it, so I really do appreciate the opportunity. Now, back to what I was saying earlier before I went off on that little tangent. So, the big thing with damage when it comes to Gran Turismo is you really get damage in 6 main parts of your car. You have the front aero, the rear aero, and then each of your suspensions. So, you have the front left suspension, front right, back left, back right, etc. So, some suspensions make it harder for you to turn your car. And say if you get damage on your front left suspension, your car's going to pull to the right and vice versa. Aerodynamic damages means you won't have the same amount of downforce and turn-in speed, which especially on these LMP1 cars, these GR1 cars, that is such a crucial thing to have. The GT3 cars aren't as affected by it, but they're still affected by it. As Caivano is going to go ahead and make a pit stop here. So a lot of drivers making these pit stops pretty early on, but I'm assuming most of it is just because damage. And in Gran Turismo, when you're setting up a lobby, you have 3 settings for damage. You have no damage, which is what some people use. Light damage, which is what a lot of leagues will tend to use. So light damage means that your car can get damaged, but the damage will repair itself after around 30 or so odd seconds. And then if you go heavy damage, then you have to come to the pits and repair your car. And speaking of cars on track, sometimes you get that damage from battling, and I think we may have a battle here between Johnny Mackers and Nodland for P10 on track. Now, obviously, the hypercars or LMP1s and the GT3 cars will be graded differently, obviously, because it's not really expected for a GT3 car like this Mercedes Nodland here to really hold a candle towards any of the LMP1 cars on track at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, it's not really a fair comparison. So the cars they're graded individually, or they're graded based on their class. So there's different standings for both the LMP1 and the GT3 cars. So they don't. That's why the blue flag rule even kind of exists for these cars here. Because I mean, the GT cars are really not racing the LMP1s. They're on the same track as them and they're racing with them, but they're not racing against them. A bit of a different, slight difference there. But now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at. Just trying to see if there's any of these hypercar battles going on. Not quite. So the hypercar field is pretty far spread out at the moment. So we have Welsh Great, who is still currently in the lead right now in the Audi, a very nice looking Audi I might add. So he's currently in the lead of this race. He's got 15 seconds, almost 16 seconds to TCR Kirby behind him, who is also in an Audi. running a, I believe that's TFP Audi for his racing team. And then we have R. Debris currently in third place. He is 7.5 seconds ahead of JoJo, but 32 seconds behind Kirby. Now, I do think it may just be because some of these drivers have yet to pit, which may very well be the case here. Yeah, because I think these two front runners have yet to make a pit stop for the two British drivers. And then we're going to take a look at P6, currently the leader of the GT3 class. That fool Tobias, or Tobias just for short, is currently in lead of the race for the GT3 cars. He's got a very good gap as well. It is a 7.6 second gap to the car behind. And then we have Jeremy, who is about, actually, Jeremy lost so much time just in that little bus stop chicane there, so I wonder what happened. I think he lost almost an entire second there, so quite unfortunate there. But just behind him, there is a battle for the final podium spot in this GT3 category between Slipigen and Legend. The names are pretty similar, but I mean, sure, their race pace is equally similar too, because these two have been kind of going back and forth for quite some time now. And it looks like Legend was thinking about making a move there, but he decided to wait because there's a much better overtaking opportunity as he's about to enter a Rouge and Radeon just before the Camel Straight. These cars are going to go ahead and go for it. They're going to put pedal to the metal, and it's going to be a bit of a drag race now. That Porsche of Legend is going to go ahead and have a very good slipstream here as I am riding on the hood camera now of this Porsche. He is going to go ahead and put pedal to the metal. He's going to close the gap slightly, but not enough to really make a move stick. Unfortunately, Legend is just a little bit still behind. He did lose a bit of time there going through the chicane, but it is still quite a long race to go. It is only lap 12 out of 62. So, and this is just for the first stint. So even if, let's say, Legend doesn't have the greatest stint here, one of his teammates across the other stints will go ahead and just continue to have a fantastic lap, fantastic race. And so we'll just have to see how everything is going to go and play. There is a blue flag once again for Legend. I can promise you he's not being lapped by one of his GT3 competitors, but there is the race leader of Welsh Great right behind him. That was a very beautiful shot. Seeing the three cars all together now. And yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. If you're a GT3 car, you have to fight while also dealing with getting out of the way for any of these LMP cars here. So, I mean, this is a fantastic battle for the final podium spot for the GT3 category as Legend shakes for moves, and he might have had the move done earlier if it wasn't for the LMP1 of Welsh Great. So we'll see what these two Dutch drivers can go ahead and do. I mean, they're so close. They're 2/10 away from each other now. Going into the bus stop chicane. Losing a bit of grip there. Both of these drivers are on some pretty warm, soft tires. They're going to continue on. But, I mean, these two are just going to fight tooth and nail for probably the rest of this, at least of this stint until the pit stops start coming out, which may be sooner rather than later, depending on how long these drivers feel like pushing. They're both on the soft tires. They're both at right around the same amount of wear. Although I think Legend does have a little bit more of that soft tire left in the rear set of the tires. I think the Huracan is burning a bit more tires in that regard. So we'll see how it's going to play out. The front tire grip is going to be really crucial for turning in. But if you want to go ahead and put full on power out, you really need those back tires to really be ripped up and rubbered in. So we'll see how that plays out. It looks like Legend is getting better exits on these corners. Kirby is behind him though, so once again, this battle will be interrupted by a LMP1, but he's going to try to sneak around the outside. Not enough real estate there for one of the Dutch drivers. The other Dutch driver being a minister of defense here. He's defending super well, but he's losing so much time to the other podium runners up ahead. Jeremy is currently 15 seconds ahead of Leishman. my microphone decided to disconnect momentarily. We love having those very minor tech blips, but we are back, and it was a short little thing, so no worries. Hopefully it didn't disturb too much, but yeah, once again, I mean, this battle is just so intense between Lisbon and Legend there. Legend's got the inside line. He's gonna force a Huracan wide, and he's got the move done and dusted. Finally, after fighting for so many laps, Legend does have that position, but can the Huracan fight back? Can the Huracan of Slishman go ahead and try to get something going here? I'm actually curious on what happened to Kirby, because I think Kirby might have lost a bit of time. Yeah, I'm checking a replay on that to see if I'm just tripping or not, but no, I think in general that's just about the typical bus stop chicane time slow. So yeah, so just taking a look again through this hypercar or LMP1 field, I mean, once again, they're all really spread out now. As I mean, I know they're on differing pit strategies as well. I know these front two have yet to pit in, but they also have that damage at any point in this race. So Welsh is having a fantastic drive here at the moment. He is currently in P1, and Lucian is making a pit stop. He's got damage again. The Norwegian driver from Exodus Motorsports has another bit of damage on his car. He had a bit of suspension damage and front aero damage, so he's back into the pits, losing more time to JoJo up ahead. So it's interesting to see how this is really all playing out here. R-Debris is still currently in P3. He's got a pretty good gap to both the car ahead and the car behind. He is 24 seconds off of the car ahead, and he is currently 12 seconds ahead of the car behind. So in terms of the hypercar slash LMP1 standings here, R-Debris is in a very good spot, because the two cars ahead of him have yet to pit, and you're going to lose about 20 seconds to the pits, if not more. So R-Debris will definitely come out ahead there once these pit stops start rolling around us. We see TCR Kirby trying to get past the leader of the GT3 category, which is Tobias, and he does get past. The Audi having a lot more power in that LMP1 car than its GT3 car behind. And R-Debris now getting past the traffic. That was the epic battle earlier for P3 overall in the GT3 category, being between Legend and Slishman. So that's pretty much how this race has really been unfolding at the moment. Johnny Mackers is behind JoJo there in the Audi. So granted, they're not really racing each other, but it is a bit of a buffer though. It was a bit of a buffer between himself and Milton here, who are currently fighting for a P10, but still now about a 2-second gap between these drivers here. So it's gonna be an interesting race, because I mean, the thing with regular endurance racing, when you're only going, like, even if this was for the entirety of the race, the thing is that there's so many strategies that can come into play here. I mean, you can just have, there's so many different strategies. You can go for a long stint, just to kind of, you know, go for like the hard compound tire and just try to run as long as you humanly can. So that way you have to make less pit stops, or you can go for the more aggressive strategy and just go with the soft tires and just burn through and try to use as much of that pace advantage as you possibly can. And I think for a majority of this GT3 field, I think that's exactly what's happening here. Yeah, I think for them, yeah, so well, about half of them anyway. The top 4 are running the soft tire compound, and the bottom 4, or the bottom 4 are running that medium compound. So they're gonna lose a bit on that pace run, but they're definitely gonna go ahead and they're definitely gonna go ahead and keep up on the tire life. So it will even out eventually. So we will go ahead and just figure out how this is gonna go. Still a pretty long race to go. We're only on lap 15 out of 62 for the stint. And then we're going to go ahead and do some driver swaps. There are 6 stints in today's race, each one lasting about 2 hours. Actually, I am very wrong in that there are 12 stints in today's race, each one lasting about 2 hours. So yeah, it's going to be a long race. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and hopefully you guys drop a like and subscribe, because this isn't the only race that we do here at EnduroGT. And I mean, this is only the 3rd round of the schedule. So we had a 24-hour race at Daytona to kick the season off. That was in January, and then in March we had the 6 hours of the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. And then now we are at the 24 hours of Spa. And then next up we have the 12 hours of Watkins Glen, 8 hours of Suzuka, 6 hours of the Red Bull Ring, and then we have the Petit Le Mans, which I believe is that Road Atlanta. And then to round things off, it is another 24-hour race at the Circuit de la Sarthe in France. The 24 hours of Le Mans is a very historic race, and I mean the 24 hours of Spa is also a very historic race as well. So it is so awesome to be given the opportunity to go ahead and commentate even a fraction of the intense race. I do want to go ahead and take this time to go ahead and shout out all of the drivers that are competing today. Whether you are a regular for this league or if you're just stopping in for the 24 hours of Spa, we really do appreciate all the drivers who are coming out here and giving it their all. Not just the drivers that we have in this stint, but the drivers we have in the other stints coming up. So, I know watching 24 hours of straight racing is a tough endeavor. I personally have still yet to watch a 24-hour race from the exact start to finish, but it's a really awesome thing. And if you guys need to take multiple days to go ahead and just watch all the action going on here in this race, then feel free to do so. It's another reason to like and subscribe, so you can check out all the races and all the stints of the races even after the fact. So, you know, if you're, and sometimes just hearing, if you're watching this even like a podcast while you're doing college work, because as a recent college graduate myself, I did that a lot. I would watch esports races while going ahead and doing homework. Just the sounds of these engines is very nice. And speaking of engine sounds, here's what we are going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and hop on board with the current race leader of Welsh Grades, and we're going to sit on board and just allow you guys just to hear the beauty of this Audi's engine. Once we go ahead and get to the start-finish straight, we're going to ride on board with the current race leader in the Audi of Welsh Grades, and we're going to do a quick onboard lap. We will be right back. onboard lap there with Welsh Great. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and I'm actually going to go ahead and read through chat as we're going to go ahead and continue back racing, picking up where we left off here. We're going to actually go ahead and drop down a car because I did see in chat that we wanted a little bit of focus on Kirby. So we're going to go ahead and switch to the car currently in second place. So, all right. Hopefully everyone's having a great day today. I'm going to try to read off some of these names. Hopefully I don't mispronounce these. I can mispronounce some of the drivers' names. I am more than certain. Hello to Ricky, Virgil, Panam, Flame Haze, Matazuno, WSR Squishy, Jack Formula 1, Sliced Bread, HG 2006, Loogie, and I believe that's all we have in chat for the moment, but I know we have 23 drivers currently, or 23 amazing people currently in chat. So thank you guys so much for tuning on in. I hope you guys have a fantastic day today, because I know I certainly am. It's going to be a fun day today of racing. So, okay, I was just doing a check to see if I was actually hearing myself on stream. Just to make sure that there wasn't any other tech issues or anything I may have forgotten to do. Jeremy is actually into the pits right now. He's making a pit stop. The current leader in the GT3 class, but that may switch up depending on about pit stops. I think Legend is actually going to go ahead and inherit the race lead, so we'll see how that is going to go ahead and play out. Jeremy is going to go ahead. Oh yeah, he's not even in the box yet. The pit lane for Spa is atrociously long, so and hello Dash, you just woke up. I understand. I know it may be the morning, it may be the evening, it may be sometime in the afternoon for a lot of you guys, and for the drivers currently on track. I know some of the drivers will go ahead and stay up till 2 or 3 or even 4 o'clock in the morning to go ahead and do the stints or even some other league races. I know some commentators that are willing to stay up till 5:30, from 5:30 a.m. till 7 to commentate just for the love of the game. Shout out to all those amazing people. I mean, and shout out to you guys for checking out the stream. I mean, it is well, at least here in the United States, which is where I am from, it is I was going to say a beautiful Saturday morning, but it is quite rainy here in North Florida. Not really raining on track here at the moment, but it is interesting stuff. I'm just checking through the GT3 field a bit here. Currently looking on board with Volvo, or Jovo there, and P11. So we'll see how this is going to go ahead and play out with him. He is 4 seconds behind Jeremy, but he is 26 seconds ahead of Slishpin. And once again, if any of the drivers do tend to check out chat, but I mean, first of all, no texting and driving. That's a very bad thing to do. But what isn't a bad thing is if you're blue flag, to go ahead and just let the hypercar through. But so far he has. I mean, we haven't seen any real issues with blue flags. I did see that somebody got rear-ended during the formation lap, which is it's suboptimal to say the least. As this race is going to continue to go on. And actually, here we go. Just moving up a few positions now. We have a battle for P8 on track. This is between Johnny Mackers and Nolan here. Mackers, well, both drivers are actually on that racing medium compound tire, so they're going to go ahead and just continue. They're basically on equal footing now. Mackers does have more fuel than Nolan does, but in terms of tire life, they are basically identical. And yeah, Mackers went very wide there. He's going to lose the position to Nolan there, and he's going to come right to the crossfire of Jeremy right behind. The German driver currently in P10 on track in the Mercedes is going to go ahead and try to chase down Mackers. Now that Mackers did go wide there. He's on a brand new set of racing softs, So they definitely just did a quick tire change for the Mercedes, and he is going to go ahead and just put pedal to the metal. He's going to try to chase down that car up ahead. I mean, a lot of times when these drivers kind of smell blood in the water like a shark, they're just going to go ahead and just punch it. So let's go ahead and just, I'm actually going to go ahead and just kind of say about when the, so just some drivers that we have coming up here very, very soon, or I say very, very soon, but it's still quite a race to go. So we do have quite a few drivers here, so I'm actually going to go ahead. I actually don't see that driver currently on track for Bon Giovanni Racing Esports. I don't see them at the moment. So actually, Medway Racing League, car number 32, the car that is currently in P1 at the moment. They have Welshie, who is currently in P1 at the moment, and then they got quite the stacked roster. A lot of drivers, some drivers even pulling, a lot of these drivers are pulling double. I was to look and see the actual official like league schedule or league rules to see if drivers can pull multiple stints. Considering how many there are, I would be very surprised if it wasn't allowed. But yeah, I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to these drivers, right? Because they have so much like tenacity and so much passion for racing, and just the drive to win is just so great with these drivers now. But the thing I'm really going to keep watching is we did see Welch get past a lapped LMP1. That is the LMP1 of Lusion now. But here's the thing to know is that Welch and Kirby still need to make a pit stop at some point. They're pushing those racing softs to the bitter end of their lifespan. So they are trying to go ahead and make up as many spots as possible, but they need to really build that gap because it's only a 6-second gap between Kirby and R. Debris. So Ricky is going to go ahead and make the overtake. If he doesn't make it on track, he's definitely going to make it in the pits because R. Debris is on racing soft as well, but he's got a lot more tire life on that soft compound because he did make a pit stop. His times are pretty consistent. He does have the fastest lap of the stint so far with a 1:58.408. The car currently in third place, trying to chase down TCR Kirby, and he is pulling in about 2 seconds on this lap, roughly. Taking a look at some official numbers, yeah, he has actually pulled in right under 2 seconds on lap 23. So it was a 1:59.967. for R. Debris, and then the car up ahead of TCR Kirby was a 2:01.755, so losing over a second. So those soft tires are definitely baked. They are baked, they are grilled, they probably are tougher than a $2 steak at the moment. So it is going to be really tricky for Kirby to keep any kind of pace, but he may suffer a bit in that short term for Kirby and Welsh because they're both on similar tires. Although Welsh hasn't lost as much time, although I feel like he's locked in with a battle with Lusion here up at the front. Lusion is currently the last place out of the GR1 cars. So, but it's still, these drivers are pushing. These cars are on similar pace. They do have Caivano up ahead in that Porsche. They're going to go ahead and try to get past. They'll want to get past sooner rather than later because, once again, like we talked about how the GT3 battle between Legend and Sleeshpit got interrupted by the GR1s. The GR1s can have their battles interrupted by a GT3 car sometimes. So it's really two sides of the same coin. We are almost done with the first hour of racing. We got about 10 more minutes before the first hour of racing has concluded. That'll put us right around the halfway mark. As we continue to push on here, we're going to actually take a look at some of these GT3 battles currently going on. We're going to go ahead and drop down to, let's see, who's going to go ahead and give us a good show, give the spectators their time's worth. not really any battles going on anywhere on track. We can go ahead and watch Tobias try to rein in Legend, because Tobias, he does have better tires at the moment. The Corvette currently sitting in P7, trying to chase down Legend there. I mean, Legend has had some exceptional pace. He did put on some really good battles earlier on today, but tire life is only going to get you so far, because Tobias does have more of that tire life compared to Legend. As Kirby does make a pit stop. Kirby, the car currently in third place. Overall, he was in second, but now he's going to go and make the pit stop. He's lost the position to R. Debris. He has caught it on those racing soft tires, and now he's going to make his way into the pits. Go ahead and shed those. I will keep an eye on it and see what tire compound that Kirby has went ahead and switched to. So it's going to be interesting. The strategy is half of the race here, especially when it comes to these 24-hour races. Because here's the thing with a multiple stint race, is that you got to put your car in a good position for your teammate to take over, or the driver who's taking your next stint. You got to put in you got to get a good position, because I mean, ideally, you're going to go ahead and use Lucian as an example here. You really don't want to be P5 at the end of the stint, because it's gonna make the job of your teammates pretty tricky to kind of navigate as we're on board with the number 6 here. So, I'm sorry, it's a different number on my end versus the stream end. Do apologize for that. But the car currently in P5 at the moment, Lucian. He's currently just sitting in 5th, but he's about a minute and a half away, almost a full lap behind of the car up ahead. So Lucian is just not had a good one, and that battery is empty on that Toyota. That Toyota does have empty battery at the moment, so that is very unfortunate there. So, because the thing with the battery in this game, unlike say F1 or Le Mans Ultimate or some other racing games out there with a hybrid battery system, is that the battery just automatically deploys for these LMP1 cars. So yeah, there's no real managing battery in these cars unless it's just down to pure driver skill. And as we're seeing, these Toyotas really just burning through that battery more than its other competitors. Because the rest of the field in the LMP1 is in the Audi. So the Audi is just better on battery management or hybrid management than the Toyota. And that battery gives you so much extra acceleration out of corners. And I mean, it's just, if you don't have battery compared to everybody else, then you're in for quite a rough time when it comes to how this race is going to play out for you. Taking a look, moving up a bit. I think we do have a battle coming up for GT3. Yeah, there we go. This is the battle for P4 overall, or in the GT3 category. P9 and P10 battling it out. Once again, it is Nodland and Mackers fighting it out for position. I think we do have a battle. So we're going to go ahead and see how this battle's going to play out. There is only 4/10 of a second between these cars here. So this is going to be an intense battle. We'll do some check-ins with some other cars here momentarily, but this is a good fight. This is a fight that's going to provide some very good on-track action at the moment. So I mean, yeah, it's been a lot of the battling here has been between these GT3 cars, and we'll go back to the GR1s momentarily, but I'm really curious on seeing how this battle with Nodland and Mackers really plays out. Mackers is really close to Nodland there. Down the Camel straight, he's got to make the pass sooner rather than later. The car goes close to contact here. Oh, and he just backs off. He could have probably sent a dive into the chicane, but he thinks better of it. He might have heard that some drivers were coming into the pits due to damages, and he probably didn't want to join that club. So sometimes you got to show restraint on these races, just because, I mean, I think a big part of the reason why Lucian was so far behind in the LMP is because he he just got into too many incidents at the onset. So it's just unfortunate that you do run into damage. We did see some chat requests for going on to JoJo, their car currently in 3rd place, as he is making his way past lap traffic there. That is Caimano, the car currently in last place overall. He is about, he's got about little under 30 seconds in front and behind, and he's still got to make a pit stop here sooner rather than later. I'm noticing a trend that a lot of these drivers are just trying to make the most on these soft tires and not opting to really go for the longer stints. I guess the opposite side of the coin to that is that you will spend longer in the pits trying to get more fuel. So I believe that the common strategy amongst these drivers is just to try to use the soft tires, burn them up, and then that way when you get fuel, you'll spend less time in the pits. Is just what I'm assuming. So, interesting stuff here. I'm sure the strategy is always different for every type of race, and even within this series, like, I'm pretty sure teams will have a different set of strategies for, let's say, the season opener at Daytona, right? So, if we go to the season opener at Daytona, I'm sure they had a bit of a different style because, granted, it was also a 24-hour race, but it was also a much different track. Daytona is, it's mostly an oval. You do have a good amount of infield sections and some pretty sharp hairpins, but overall that track is mostly oval, or at least 50% oval. So the tire wear, the fuel usage, it's going to be different compared to, even Barcelona that we went to last time out. Barcelona is a tire destroyer of a track. If you have raced in any kind of league race, whether it's GT3, Super Formula, or LMP1, it doesn't matter. That track will chew up tires like a 6-year-old chewing through a pack of bubble gum. Those tires are going to be shredded. As we go ahead and there's actually been quite a gap formed between Johnny Mackers and Nautilus. And I wonder if that's, they're both running on a kind of a 50-50 strategy right now. They're kind of going like half endurance, half, pace, because that's exactly what those medium tires are. They're the kind of tire that you can get about half. You won't get as much speed as the soft tires, but you won't have the same level of tire wear either, but you won't quite have the endurance of the hard tires, despite the fact that you are faster than the hard tires. So strategy, I always say that strategy is about 50% of a race. So, you can have all the pace in the world, but if your strategy just is abysmal, then good luck. You could be prime Max Verstappen or prime Lewis Hamilton, any of that, but if you're making 10 pit stops in a race while everybody else is doing a 1 or 2 stop, then most times you're not going to really come out on top. So I always say that strategy is about half the battle. Endurance is another half of that battle. Because, granted, yes, Nolan and Mackers are both pretty close once again, only about 7 or 1.7 seconds apart. Not super close. You really can't make a move there unless you do something that the online lobbies will tend to do, or sometimes the daily races of they try to use the Ayrton Senna quote of, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver, when there really was not a gap there to begin with. Then there was no way that 1.7 second gap was going to really be newsworthy. But we're going to jump on board now with the race leader currently for the GT3 cars, the car in P6 overall, Tobias, as he's just kind of cruising now. He does have blue flags, so he's kind of in the mix of the hypercars. But the nice thing for him is that he's got such a bumper to legend behind that he can really just cruise and just like, okay, yeah, you I'm sorry, folks, the headset apparently has decided to not really cooperate with me today. Haven't had it disconnect like that before. So we'll see. Hopefully that's the last time we will have an unfortunate little tech issue, but so far it's been pretty solid here. There we go, just went ahead and plugged it in just so we don't have that issue any further on today, just to play it safe. But yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting race here so far, as Welsh, the race leader overall, finally makes a pit stop. So, Welsh has made a pit stop. He's going to come in, he's going to lose that position, and our Debris is going to go ahead and come back into the lead of this race. And actually, Legend also makes a pit stop in P8, so we're seeing some of these leaders in these classes going ahead and making their pit stops. So here's the question though, and I'll keep an eye on Welsh to kind of see how this is going to play out in terms of just overall how this is going to really play out for them. Going to get the pit stop done and dusted. And how much fuel is he going to get is the question. I don't know if he's going to fill up on a full tank or not. He did switch to, I believe, another set of racing soft tires. So I guess it's 74%, which is a pretty decent amount. Might be able to actually get up for the rest of the race, maybe? That's a massive question mark. But he did lose some positions. JoJo is currently up into P2 now from the pit stops. But I think he'll also make a pit stop here pretty soon. And actually, Welsh is going to come out not too far behind, so we might have a battle here in the hypercars, or the LMP1s for the first time in a while. So we'll see how this tends to play out. As these two cars, I mean, Welsh is going to be on fresher tires. He's going to have a lot more fuel. So, I mean, it's really advantage Welsh right now. So Welsh is going to try to chase down JoJo. We can hop onto the rear wing camera of Welsh, or sorry, of JoJo, to see if how close he really is, and just kind of in that wing mirror. So I mean, he's gonna get past lap traffic now for JoJo, getting past Johnny Mackers in that BMW, and Welsh is really closing in that gap. It was about 2 or 3 seconds earlier on, but now it is about a second and a half, so he is just gaining 10th after 10th after 10th at the moment. So interesting stuff here from all of these drivers. These drivers are really, I mean, I just got to give massive shout out to them based on just their durability, because I mean, for the endurance race, it's not just about the car enduring, it's about the driver as well. And I mean, JoJo is enduring on those basically archaic racing softs at the moment. And as my co-commentating parent has just informed me that he predicts that it's going to be lap 32 or 33 for JoJo to pit. Unfortunately, his prediction was wrong, because it looks like JoJo is going to go ahead and fire off into the pits now to shed those racing soft tires. So JoJo is going to lose at least one position to Welsh, who might lose another to Kirby as well. See where Kirby is on track in relation. So maybe we might have some pretty solid battles here throughout. It is lap 31 currently for a good chunk of the hypercar field, 32 for the leader of our Debris. It is lap 28 for the GT3 leader, that is Tobias. And he's got a 13-second gap to the car behind. Our Debris has got a pretty solid gap. He's got a 34-second gap, so really, he can just kind of cruise, chill out, not really worry about too much. And yeah, so that's pretty much how this is playing out so far. Just going to go and do a quick run through of our current standings in the LMP1 standings, as we are over halfway done with the stint. It is our Debris currently in first place, followed by Welsh Great, TCR Kirby, JoJo, who's just exiting the pits, and Illusion, rounding out our GR1 LMP1 category. And then we have Tobias leading us in the GT3 category, followed by Jeremy, Johnny Mackers, Brisbane, Jorvo, 1510, Legend, Madeline, and Kaivano, rounding out our overall field. So a lot of these drivers, I mean, at this point now they're just really thinking about like, okay, what can I do to really set myself up, or set my team up for a good transition going into stint number 2, which starts at 11 a.m. So these drivers are really going to try to push it to the limit and try to do it, set their teammate up in the best of position that they can, so that the next set of driver, or the next driver can do some magic. I mean, because even though, like, I know I said earlier, you ideally don't want to be in that P5 position or like in the midfield, especially if you're in like the GT3 cars. You really just want to, you really want to be in the best spot humanly possible. So even then, like, let's say you're Slashman currently in 9th place right now overall. Your teammate can have a fantastic start to the stint and get yourself up into that lead position of your class. So I mean, obviously getting closer to the front would be better, or being in the front would be optimal. But sometimes you can bottle it, or you can get taken out, and it's just completely outside of your control. So many factors to kind of think about when it comes to racing in long duration multi-class racing. So we will, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they play out. Some drivers may be faster than others that are coming in later stints, so that is definitely something to really think about. So interesting stuff in today's race. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. Hopefully you guys are having fun. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe, because we have stints going all throughout today and even tomorrow. So actually we have a battle currently now down into P10 overall between Legend and Hovo there. The two Porsches wrapping each other now, battling it out. Hovo does have a half-second penalty. He will lose that position to his fellow Porsche. But he would have lost that position anyway due to the penalty that the number 93 Golf Porsche has on him at the moment. He is trying to chase down and try to call back that position, but I mean, Legend is on the fresher tires, he's on the faster tires. So overall, he's just in a better spot, and there really wasn't much that Robo can really do there. So very, very unfortunate there. So what we're actually gonna go and see if we can do here, gonna try to compare lap times here. So currently the JoJo's lap really won't count because it is an lap, but taking a look at the most recent lap times from these drivers, looks like actually Wolf Street does currently have the best pace, so he's currently the fastest car on track at the moment. The only one of the LMP1 cars to really be in that 159 or be in the sub 2 minute. Artery still is the fastest lap of the race though. It is a 158.408 still from earlier on. I believe that was set. And I want to say lap number 2 maybe? It was still pretty early on in the race, but actually no, it might have been lap 3 because lap 1 was a formation lap. So actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of glance at the weather radar. The camera will stay on track, but just taking a look at the radar, just seeing if there's any threat of rain. It doesn't look like there is, but Belgium is known for its rain, so I'm going to check that out really quickly and then report back. I'll pick up my part-time gig as a weatherman, and there is not a single speck of rain on that radar. So, yep, no rain forecasted for, at least for now, and judging by the clouds, or well, quite honestly the lack thereof, as Walsh Great is going to get past Caivano again, lap traffic in that GT3 category. There's going to be no rain whatsoever for the first stint of this 24-hour race. Maybe in other stints, I don't have that information in front of me. I can maybe dig up for it, but I don't think in general, I don't think there's there's not really any weather kind of suggested, so who knows what's going to happen as it gets into the wee hours of the night here. So maybe dig up for it, but I mean, driving in the night's a different thing entirely too, and if it gets rainy too, some drivers thrive more in the rain than they do in the dry. So but some drivers absolutely hate wet weather racing. So it'll be intriguing to kind of see how that all what that all entails, how it plays out. What we're actually going to do is we're going to go on board and do another on-board lap with Tobias. Actually, once he goes ahead and starts his next lap, we're going to go ahead and do just a on-board lap with him like we did with Welsh Straight earlier. And if you guys actually want an onboard lap with any driver, go ahead and drop it in chat, and that is something we can go ahead and get taken care of for you. But Tobias is getting the blue flag at the moment. There is a LMP1 behind him. I believe it is Kirby. So Kirby is going to go and try to chase down Tobias here. Try to swap the position, although Tobias really won't have any issues with that, because the cars are in different classes, and his next nearest challenger is about 13 seconds back. So we will see as Kirby was trying to get the inside of Tobias. Tobias closed the door on him. So a little bit of drama here at the moment. A little bit of drama between Tobias and Kirby. Kirby will get past, and I'm sure he will have been a little less than thrilled about that. So, yeah, Tobias is he's doing pretty good, but I'm sure that little scuffle has definitely cost him a little bit of time to do the car up ahead. There's actually a battle going on a little bit further back. It's once again Sledgeman and Legend about to go back at it again. So we'll see how this tends to play out. And yeah, we're gonna actually go ahead and go to the onboard lap that was promised earlier with Tobias, and we'll be right back. Lap there with Tobias now, so that was an awesome lap. I mean, some good times, and also that sound of the Corvette is indeed heavenly. I do want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to Gold, who is currently doing the onboard cameras for today's race, at least in the Stint. Very good job on the camera work so far. So all the action you've been seeing on track, make sure. Well, yes, I was doing the commentary, but we would not be here without Gold offering to go ahead and stream this stint and going ahead and doing the camera work. So thank you so much for Gold. You are the gold. That was an unintentional pun, I'm sorry, but yeah, you are fantastic. Much appreciation to one of my favorite Canadians out there, even though we just met probably an hour ago, but yep, you heard from the man. So thanks a lot, and we're gonna get back on track now. R3 is pitting from the lead, so Welsh did undercut him a bit with the pit strategy, so he is going to go ahead and jump back into the lead of this race so far. He is setting purple sectors though, so we might see a fast lap here from Welsh. Welsh might be going ahead and trying to get that fastest lap away from R3. I mean, granted, this would just be for just Stint and not quite the overall, although, hey, sometimes maybe the fastest lap will be set in the first stint. We will have to go ahead and see how that plays out in terms of that, because there's still 12 stints in this race today. Each one lasting about 2 hours, roughly. So once we're done with this next stretch of 62 laps, we are going to go ahead and we will go ahead and sign off here and let the next group of racers and commentators go ahead and jump in. But we still have quite a bit of racing to go before that. It is only lap 38 out of 62 here, so still quite a long ways to go for this race, for this stint. I'm sure these drivers are going to be tired, probably catching a cat nap and getting ready for the next for their next stint, because a lot of these drivers are indeed making another stint. So it'll be pretty interesting. So for what I am seeing here, just taking a quick look through the race briefing. So every driver at the end of lap 61 will pit in. So that is going to be, that's how this is going to play out. So at the end of lap 61, I'm just reading through this, so sorry if I kind of stutter a bit, just reading through this as I'm presenting this information to you. So at the end of lap 61, which is the penultimate lap here in this race, every driver in the LMP1 category will go ahead and pit, and then it'll be ready for the next group of drivers. And then for the LMGT3s, it will be at the end of lap number 52, or 53, sorry. Oh no, it is 52, so a little bit different for lap to lap, but so, and then for the other stints, it'll be end of lap 62 and at the end of lap 53, so the first stint will be a lap earlier than anticipated, so it'll be interesting to see. We do have a battle here once again between Johnny Mackers and Nodland here. This is the battle for P10 on track at the moment. Or sorry, battle for P11. Apologies there. Once again, it is the battle of the German cars. Once again in Spa, at least the closest thing on this series encounter to a home race for these cars. And as my co-commentator has just kind of informed me on his opinion, while there's no rain guaranteed for the first stint, Stint 2 will very likely have rain, so we'll see if his prediction comes to pass later on. The legendary Peeps co-commentator. So we'll see how this is going to play out. We're still on board with the battle between Johnny Mackers and E. Nuland here. See if there's going to be another change for the lead. I mean, we've seen these two battle a lot, so, and that's what you love to see, right? That is the thing we look for when it comes to racing, is just being close battles. I mean, even though it's early on in the race, and these drivers really could just settle in and just get to coast. These drivers, there is so much on the line, even though this is the first stint. There's still 11 more stints after this that their teammates will take on, and at some point these drivers will take on again. And I'm actually going to go ahead and look through the stint lineup and see when these drivers will be back on track, and I think both of them will be back out on track at some point. Just going to go ahead and look for those details really, really quickly. It may take me a minute, but yeah, so far it's been pretty interesting. Hovo does make a pit stop. He was actually cutting it very close on fuel, so interesting to see how this is all going to go ahead and play out. So just taking a look at everything. Not seeing the... Okay, so Johnny Macker's currently in P11 in the BMW. He will actually take on stint number 11. So he'll take the penultimate stint after his current stint is done. And then we'll take a look for Nolan here and see if I can find him anywhere on the stint list. I think that's actually it. I'll look back and see if he's under a different name, potentially, but yeah, so far, so we will see this driver, Johnny Mackers, once again. He will be taking the 11th stint. So, interesting to see. I'm not seeing Nolan's name anywhere, but if I do find it, I will go ahead and let you guys know if he's taking on another stint. So we'll just see how it goes. I think a majority of these drivers are taking multiple stints. So that will be very intriguing and very interesting to see how these stints are going to go ahead and play out. Hopefully you guys are having a fun time here today. We already have 11 likes currently on stream. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the GOATs. You guys are absolutely fantastic. We love and appreciate all the support. Check us out on our social media as well. Instagram is at EnduroGT. We also have a Discord channel. So if you want to get involved in any of the future races, be sure to go ahead and join the EnduroGT Discord. We'd love to have you. We love to see what you're all about, because sometimes some of the greatest talents are those whose talents have yet to be discovered. So if you think you might have a shot, or if you wanted to see how you stack up against these legendary drivers that we have here today, then go ahead and join the Discord and try to get involved for the next race. Granted, you will have a lot of time to prepare for the next race, because the next race is on the 21st of June at the 12 hours of Watkins Glen. So stay tuned for that one. We'll see who's going to be on the commentary desk for that, and we'll see who the driver list is, and hopefully, when it comes to the driver list, hopefully we'll see them. Or if you think you have a knack for commentating, then go ahead and try to join us as well. So we'd love to see what you got, whether you're on the commentary desk or whether you're on the track. We'd love to have you. So, or if you just want to be a part of the community, feel free to pop in as well. So, who is hosting the second stint? That is a very good question. I will look into that and try to find that out for you. I don't think, actually I don't know who that is. We'll see who is hosting it. But I mean, it's gonna be a stream change from Mogul and myself streaming, and then it'll be over to the next set of commentators for Stint 2, so. But I mean, I know we have some pretty good commentators coming in for today. I believe he is in Stint 5, but B23, also known as Brando, is another very talented commentator. I have commentated with him at the Grand Prestige League, so he is a very solid commentator. But while I may not know these other commentators, I am very, very, very confident that these commentators are very, very talented. They're going to have some good insights. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all goes. I'm sure the other commentators will bring a lot of life and a lot of information and education to the next 11 stints. And hopefully you guys are alright with me commentating for this stint. It is a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream, because I certainly am. I've been actually wanting to commentate for a 24-hour race for quite some time now. Obviously I'm not doing all 12 stints, because my voice box would be grilled salmon by the time we got done with the second stint, let alone the 12th. But We do have some very fantastic commentators coming up, and some very fantastic drivers coming up. So be sure to go ahead and just go ahead and subscribe, drop a like, turn on notifications, and just stay tuned, because I mean, you won't have to wait long for the next stint. You'll probably wait maybe 10 minutes, 10 to maybe 15 minutes at the most, probably less, because I mean, it's just going to use the results of this stint here. So, and yes, as you know, you are correct. It is a race of survival. It is well paced at the early get-go, but Welsh is once again setting purple sectors in that Audi up in first place at the moment. He's got a very clear track up ahead. He's got almost a minute to the car behind. So we'll just have to see if the British driver can go ahead and usurp the Dutchman, our debris. So we'll see how it's all going to go ahead and play out. I mean, this actually went by pretty quickly. I can't believe we've almost hit an hour and a half already. Man, time flies when you're having fun. As I just did, I'm going to go ahead and remind everybody to go ahead and hydrate. These drivers would not be performing to the top of their game if they were not hydrated. So, trust me, I know Red Bull is delicious, Monster is delicious, Celsius is pretty mid, but some people love it. I know that might be a bit of a controversial hot take on the commentary desk, but get some water in your system. Your body likes water. Get some flavoring if you need flavoring in it, but just drink water. It is very good for your system, and your body will thank you. I personally drink a bit of a insider on the commentary side of things, as we are currently looking for a battle. Nothing really close to happening right now, so a lot of these drivers have spread out quite significantly, as Kirby does go ahead and get past Hulbo there as lap traffic. The car currently in second place, the number 25 Audi. But hydrate, your body likes it. A little bit of insight from the commentary desk. If you are having a sore throat or your throat kind of hurts after commentary, just put some lemon juice in some water. It's going to be kind of sour, but it does really help your throat. It's what I do after every single commentary that I do. And once again, if you guys are interested in commentary and you want to try commentating for one of the stints at EnduroGT, I believe we have all the stints for today's race all pretty much under wraps. So it's a bit too late to get involved with the commentary for today's race, but you are more than welcome to commentate for any of the future races that we do. Just go ahead and join the Discord, and one of the admins will go ahead and help you out. Oh, that is such a painful penalty. Yeah, we see it now. On board with the Lamborghini. Yeah, thank you for bringing that to my attention there. Another reason why Virgold is the Virgo. As we see, yeah, now 3-second time penalty. It's more egregious at some tracks than others. I've heard that the Red Bull Ring, and I've personally experienced Road Atlanta, is atrocious when it comes to these pit lane violations, but yeah, it's a bit of an interesting problem that Gran Turismo just seems to have with its pit lanes. I love this game, I love commentating on it, but as somebody who does love the game, I will point out faults I believe that the game has. Although I do want to ask chat for some opinions here. How do you guys feel about this incoming update that we're having on, I believe it is Wednesday? No, it's Thursday. Sorry, it is Thursday with the next update. For those of you maybe unfamiliar with the cars that are coming in with the next update, we are getting 4. We're getting the most anticipated car in Gran Turismo history, the Honda PRV Block Edition. I know people aren't really too big of a fan of that car, and I'm not either, but and then we get another K truck, which, granted, I know K vehicles are popular, but I'm sure people in Gran Turismo would like some GT3 updates. But the Ferrari and the Corvette, I've actually seen some people I know personally, they really are happy about the V5 Corvette making its appearance in Gran Turismo. and I know others are liking the 812. So what's your opinions on the current update that's coming out? And do you guys... Yeah, I might have to mess with my mic a bit. Unfortunately, it keeps disconnecting at times, which is not ideal. Actually, I know what it is. Hang on. I'll make a quick fix, but I just want to get your guys' opinion on... Just want to get your guys' opinions on how this update... How you think this update is going to go ahead and play out? So, yeah. I think it's a decent update. Not the greatest update, but it's better than the update a while ago where we got the Unimog, but I'm just curious if there's going to be any VOP changes, because that's going to change a lot of stuff. I mean, the last VOP change really shifted the entirety of the GT3 category, so interesting to see how that is all going to go in and play out. So yeah, just kind of curious about your guys' thoughts on the update. Also, I'm just going to ask Chad, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to ask y'all just a few questions, and feel free to comment at any time or point. But actually, we're going to get back to that in a moment, because there is a battle for second place overall currently up at the front between Kirby and JoJo. JoJo is on older tires now. Kirby is on fresher tires, but we may see a battle here soon, although I think Kirby might have actually got passed. I'm going to go ahead and try to rewind it on my end and see if I can see when the pass actually happened. No, so I think they've actually, I think that pass happened way good time ago. But yeah, actually it looks like JoJo is getting Kirby on some of these corners, so it's going to be, we'll just have to see if anything could happen. Oh, it looks like somebody went wide on exit. That might be Mackers. I think Mackers might have went a bit wide on exit. But actually, yeah, JoJo is catching up. JoJo is catching up to Kirby. So we'll have to see if we can really close that gap in until because I mean it's lap 46 out of 62 in this first stint. So there's still quite a lot of racing left to go here, at least in stint 1. It's purple sectors again, but somehow we've seen a lot of purple sectors. And Johnny Mackers kind of impeded there, but there really wasn't anything for Mackers to really do. He couldn't really go anywhere without going off the track limits. And I think in that situation, I mean, Mackers is going to be okay. He's not going to get in trouble for any of that because it's a very short payment. And also, once again, there really wasn't anywhere for him to go, but yeah, but actually, JoJo is catching up. JoJo is catching up to Kirby. Those brakes and soft tires have really benefited the German driver here, so we'll just have to see how it's going to play out. And as my parakeet co-commentator is giving his opinion, I will translate. He is saying that it's probably going to be lap 47 at the earliest for JoJo to make the pass, because he's saying that it's going to be tricky to kind of keep those soft tires from falling off of the cliff. So thank you, peeps. Your input is always appreciated. So yeah, I agree. You know, that these soft tires they're quicker around these corners, but I mean, they're going to reach their fall point way before the mediums did. And he's got more life in the medium tires than JoJo has in soft tires. But JoJo has seemingly just got a ton more pace. And this is for second place overall in the race. He's going to try to send it up he's going to try to go around the outside, actually. Kirby covering him off. And now, once again, it looks like JoJo's going to try to fire it up around the outside of the source. Is he going to get it? I think he's got it. I think JoJo's got it. Oh, but it's going to be a drag race through Rouge. Kirby's going to slot it behind, try to get as much of a slipstream as he can. The two cars going side by side. Risky. Oh. Indeed, that was super risky business there between Kirby and JoJo. But JoJo got a penalty for it. Here's a half-second penalty for the German driver. Now, we know the slowdown takes about half a second, but you lose so much more time than that, especially on this track. So, I mean, it's just robbed to get a penalty. I mean, like you said, it was very, very risky to really go for that move. I mean, hey, these drivers got balls of steel if they're trying to make moves like that through a Rouge, but whew, that probably caused a few code rounds for the drivers and some of the people watching the race. It would have caused a code round for me, that is most certain. But yeah, look at the gap now. Kirby, like, even with this half-second penalty, looming over JoJo, Kirby is lost 5 seconds. Oh, the damage, that explains why. He's got front left suspension damage and front aero damage, so that's going to result in him coming into the pits. Our debris is only a second behind now, too. So this really is went from bad to worse from Kirby now. In the front of this LMP1 field. So our debris is going to try to chase down Kirby now to try to go ahead and swap these positions. He's losing so much time. Oh, it's a bit of a touch. They touch ever so slightly. And that is just super duper unfortunate for these drivers. Yeah, that just sucks if you're Kirby. Yeah, he's got to get that damage fixed. Just make things just a little bit harder now. It's going to be a bit of a breath of fresh air for Illusion, though. Seeing somebody coming to the pits. If you're coming into the pits that early without, it might be a blessing in disguise for Kirby because he will be able to switch tires, and he might be able to make some of the time back from our debris in the next set of pit stops. But I just don't know if there's really going to be many more pit stops left. There is a little over 10 laps left to go in the stint. So, yeah, that Audi has definitely seen better days. You can see it's got pretty severe front damage, but it's been all fixed now, and now they're back on track. I'm sure the stewards are probably with their hands full with today's race. Maybe some post-race penalties may come out. Not too sure, but I know those, yeah, it's gonna be rough. Yeah, I also just want to go ahead and give a massive shout out to all the drivers who are pulling double stint in today's race. You guys are absolute legends. And honestly, I don't think I'd be able to do I'd be able to survive making 1 2-hour stint, let alone another 2-hour stint on top of that. Let's be real here. But yeah, once again, the big thing with just taking a look through these LMP1s is that the issue with Illusion is that he just doesn't have battery. So he really, we know Illusions can be a quick driver, but there's only so much you can do with the car underneath of you. And if you don't have any kind of battery at the stage, and the Audis up ahead have like all the battery in the world, it's like they're powered by just straight Duracells or something like that, then you really just don't have much. You're basically at that point kind of an LMP2 car. Essentially, you got similar pace to the LMP1s, but just not quite enough. And I don't think that's really a knock against Illusion's driving. I just think it's mostly just the fact that Toyota is burn through battery. Actually, that might be what Illusion needs to do. He might just have to go ahead and for those of you who grew up in like the 2000s, like early to like late 2000s, like myself, or have had an Xbox at any point, you'll think of the strategy of if you just want to get a little bit of extra life out of that battery, you just swap the batteries around. Like if you have 2 AA's, just go ahead and flip them around. I lived off of that strat for. I don't do that to this day if I have anything with batteries like my keyboard, mouse, or well, actually, just my mice in general. If I want to get just a little bit of extra battery life, especially if I'm like at college or at work and I don't really have access to another set of batteries, just go ahead and flip them around a bit. The old switcheroo. I like doing a driver swap on the batteries. Maybe I'll go ahead and I'll tell Illusion to go ahead and try that strategy in his Toyota and see if maybe he just needs those Duracells flipped around a bit. All jokes aside, yeah, we're seeing a lot of purple sectors in Sector 1, but it's just the other sectors that the drivers are just kind of losing out on. You know what? It's gotta be though. They gotta be on those fancy rechargeable batteries. They're like 15 bucks at a Walmart. That's definitely what these Audis are on. That's the only thing I can think of, because usually those battery packs have like 4 batteries in a single thing that you can just plug and play. It's gotta be what these are on. Or those Power Drill batteries, because those things last an eternity. According to my dad, who used to work construction and has a lot of experience with the Power Drills, those things last an eternity and a half. Probably lasted longer than a lot of the soft compound tires that we're seeing a lot of these drivers use. But yeah, anyways, back to the on-track action. There is a battle currently going on for second place overall with Jeremy and Legend. Jeremy is on, he's got more fuel and he's got more tire life in the racing soft tires. So the car currently 8th place overall, 3rd in the LMGT3 category, is trying to chase down Legend, but he's turning that Mercedes into a very expensive lawnmower. At least on my end, that might just be a visual bug, but I don't know if you saw it from your end. Might just be my end, but these cars are all over the place. Okay, yep. It is just a visual bug on my end, so ignore that. I'm gonna leave the lobby and rejoin because everybody is bugged on my end. So I can still watch from the stream, but yeah. Gran Turismo was not a perfect game, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. We know it's a bit of a buggy mess from time to time. If you have done any kind of online racing, whether it's daily races or if you did Manufacturers Cup, you'll know that sometimes Gran Turismo lobbies are pretty buggy at times. Especially when it connects if you're from Gran Turismo connections, especially with drivers from other regions, isn't always the greatest. I know sometimes in the Americas, sometimes drivers from Europe or the Asia Pacific sometimes have pretty iffy connections. That's nothing against any of the nothing against any of the connections from any specific country. Just sometimes when you're halfway across the world trying to play the same racing game on the same servers, sometimes it's a bit tricky. Just like I'm sure that, you know, sometimes like I know sometimes in particular I will have issues connecting with, like sometimes the UK, drivers in the UK give the most connectivity issues. Yeah, like connect with some. Alright, yep. Oh, that's a big one. Thank you for the update. Good sir, yeah, Jojo had a massive crash there. I'll see if I can rewind it, maybe on my end. Oh, it's yeah, so that's really going to hurt his race a bit. And oh, that's actually interesting because it did, leaving and rejoining did fix another glitch that I had actually, where there's another glitch. It started happening in like some of the more recent-ish updates, I want to say. Probably right before the update they added the F3500, there was a visual bug that sometimes the custom-made liveries just didn't load in properly. So, if I said the wrong number on the car, that is because it is a car that the livery didn't quite load in properly. So that actually fixed when I had to leave and rejoin the session because earlier all the cars were kind of just stopped and rolling backwards, which I'm pretty sure that was not at all what happened. Actually, funny enough, we were talking about batteries earlier on in the session, and JoJo's car has a sponsor that is Battery Beast. So maybe that's why the Audis are super dominant, because they're all powered by this Battery Beast. If they are a Battery Beast, then is there a Battery Mr. Beast? Interesting question, but anyways, we're going to get back to the on-track action. So it's going to be interesting. We are coming down to one of the closing stages of the race. It is currently lap 45 for the cars in the GT3 category, and I believe it's around lap 46 or so, maybe for the Hype 51. Thank you. Yeah, because unfortunately the only other issue with joining or leaving and rejoining a session is that the lap counter is pretty far behind. So it's still saying that a lot of the hype cars are on lap 1, which is obviously not true. I'll be very concerned if you are driving for an hour and 45 minutes and you're only on lap 1. But that is going to get updated as things goes along. Now it's lap 53 for Welsh Grand as we see a battle here between Jeremy and Legend right in front of Welsh. So Welsh is going to definitely, he's going to see the opportunity and go for it. He's going to try to get past all these cars, but into one through wide. Oh, there's a scary moment here. They're going through a Rouge and Radion. That is terrifying stuff. Both of the GT3 cars are about to go way wide. Yeah, they went super wide there on corner exit. I'm sure having a LMP. Yep. We see that now. Yep. Legend got a penalty for it, going very off track. Although granted, you can't really get those penalties removed like you may be able to in some other racing games. Because I know sometimes some leagues for other games like F1, they will go ahead and remove the penalty if the game being the game. But in Gran Turismo, you really can't get away with that. So unfortunately for Legend, I think that was mostly due to that LMP1 car of Welsh just kind of firing it on through there. But once again, that's just endurance racing. Sometimes there's just parts on track that, I mean, you have to let the LMP1 cars go, but it's really not a good spot for it. Just not really convenient. As we see Legend battling it out with Jeremy, but in sector 3 of this track, we're going to have that penalty. So, I mean, it's a half-second penalty, but you lose a bit more than just half a second. So, I mean, honestly, before the lap even ended, I think Jeremy would have been able to make the pass anyway, just because he was on that much of fresher tires. So Jeremy is going to go instead and get the pass done on the Legend. He's got it. The half-second penalty really helping out, but I think Jeremy would have had that either way. But yeah, so we are soon to be down to, we have only 10, actually not even now, it is 9 laps remaining now for the lead driver in Stint 1. So we're going to go ahead and just do a quick run through of everything. We have Welsh Greats currently sitting in first position, followed by Art Debris, Jojo, Kirby, and Illusion, rounding out our top 5, also known as the LMP1 category. And then we have Tobias, Jeremy, Legend, Johnny Mackers, Nolan, Slishpin, Jovo, and Kaivano, rounding out our final spots on the grid in the LMGT3 category. So, once again, just because we're down to 9 laps left to go in this stint, we have way more action to come. We have over 9 more hours of racing left to go. We have a lot more time on this fantastic racing circuit in Stevlat, Belgium. I mean, this is such an amazing track. I've commentated on this track almost a dozen times now across Gran Turismo and other platforms, but I mean, there's a reason for that. It is such a very good track. 7 kilometers of honestly borderline peak racing. I mean, there's really not a bad part of this track. There hasn't been a single platform that I've raced this track on where it was not fun. And you can take pretty much any car around here. It's really fun. If you guys want to laugh, do this track in the Tomahawk X and see how many times you can do a backflip. I found out it can be quite a few. But yeah, this track is so much fun. The admins did a fantastic job of putting this track on the calendar, although I'm pretty sure it's one of the most no-brainer tracks on the calendar. As well, we'll start lap 55 out of 62 in this stint. Kirby now is gonna try to make magic happen, but I mean, all these LMP1 cars are pretty far spread out, and actually kind of the same for these GT3 cars as well. The closest one is between Jeremy and Legend, and that's still 2 seconds, and Legend's got the tire advantage there. But so once again, we're approaching that point of the lap where these drivers are gonna have to make their pit stops. So we're gonna make their final stop. According to the race briefing, it is lap 61 for LMP1 and lap 52 for the GT3 cars. So only a few more laps left to go before they will have to go in and make their pits. And then that's pretty much all we got here for Stint 1. Once again, I do want to go ahead and, I know I've said it quite a bit, but I think it's one of the most important things to do as a streamer, as a commentator, is I got to thank each and every one of you guys that is tuned in to today's stream, to this stint. Hopefully you guys will tune in for the next 11th stint. Even if you can't watch them all in one sitting, I know 24 hours is a lot, but I really do appreciate you guys dropping likes, watching the stream, subscribing on the stream alone. At least as of right now, I'm going to refresh it to see if it has been updated any, but we have currently, at the time of this, we have 11 likes. So excellent stuff there. You guys are absolute legends. Hopefully, and if some of you guys have Stint coming up here very, very soon, whether you're in Stint 2 or you're in one of the later stints, best of luck to you guys. Hopefully you guys do good. Giving you all the best of luck, giving you the commentator blessing. That hopefully doesn't turn to a commentator's curse. Anyways, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it. I'm enjoying my time here, but we still have quite a bit of racing left to go before this stint is wrapped up. But the curious thing here is that are we going to see any more pit stops from these front runners? Because I mean, we've seen that these pit stops really change how the grid kind of sets. But I think in general, Welsh and our degree have had some of the strongest pace out of all of these cars so far. But I think Welsh has really had some phenomenal pace in the Audi. Once again, we're seeing a lot of purple sector ones, but these purple sectors really haven't translated to a fastest lap yet. I don't think anyone's really taken that fastest lap away from the initial fast lap set by our Debris, which was that 158. I think he's still the only car that really set time at 158, but anyways, I mean, these drivers have done an excellent job. Some drivers have been unfortunate, but here's the thing. You're not going to win a 24-hour race in the first stint. You got to really have a lot of trust in your teammates, and your teammates will have to perform as good as you do. So here we go. So we're getting ready for stint 2. We still have quite a few laps left to go, so don't worry. We're not going anywhere. I see that the stint 2 preparations are underway. And it is going to be a fantastic stint coming up. I mean, we have some very talented drivers coming in. I may not know these drivers personally, but I have good faith that if they are equally as talented and equally as pacey as the drivers we've had here, that it is going to be an absolute blast watching these drivers just go at it. In stint 2, you guys are definitely not going to want to miss it. And yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy it as much as we do. So the closest thing on track to a battle right now is between Slishman and Nodland right now. The Nova Racing Esports Lamborghini taking on a similar color scheme Mercedes behind. Just getting a look at the team name real quick. From the Medway Racing League. So the number 34 Mercedes trying to chase down the number 87 Lamborghini. It is going to be, this battle might actually come to blows here pretty soon. There's not a lot of laps left to go for these cars. I believe there's only 3 laps left to go for these GT3 cars. Just once again taking a look at the race briefing real quick just to make sure I'm correct. I'm sorry, no, they got a few more laps. So it is going to be lap 53 for these GT3 cars before they go ahead and make their final stop, their final mandatory stop. And then it is going to be Welsh Crate kind of leading us off, and Kaimanos does have a half-second time penalty for track limits. Unsure when that happened, but I mean, his day has already been going bad to worse. He's definitely going to be really hoping that his teammate can really take charge in that Porsche. So we'll just have to see how that's all going to play out for the Porsche. Oh, we did have someone just join the lobby. I think though that is I think just in general, I think that is a driver that's going to be in the next stint. But I think stint 2 will have its own separate lobby. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. But yeah, we're getting up. He did lead. I think that was the driver that was looking for Stint 1, or sorry, the Stint 2 lobby. So the Stint 2 lobby is actually now officially open. It opened about 10-ish minutes ago. So those drivers are going to go ahead and get practice and get ready for the next stint, but we still have quite a ways to go now before that stint is done. Yeah, sorry, just doing a bit of head math real quick. It is 5 laps left to go for Welsh. He'll pit in within 4 laps just to go ahead and wrap up the stint. And I mean, these drivers have been just been put through the ringer. These drivers have been giving it their all. I mean, they've been going for over 2 hours now at this point, or close to 2 hours now. And I mean, it probably is over 2 hours once you consider practice for today, as Welsh just slingshot past Johnny Mackers in that BMW, as we are down to about the last 4 laps left to go before the mandatory pit stop for these cars. And it's been a very fantastic race here today. Good amount of drama. Seen some very spicy moments, especially through Eau Rouge. I mean, Eau Rouge is probably one of the most famous corners in motorsport. Just going to look for any kind of battle here. I mean, this field is really spread out, so there really isn't going to be many battles. These drivers are really just going to focus on surviving, as Jeremy is going to let what appears to be his teammate through. His teammate that is currently in the LMP1. So, yeah, interesting stuff going on here from these drivers. There's gonna be teams running multiple cars. Some teams are running a hypercar and an LMP1 car and a GT3 car. I think so far there might be only one team that's doing that. It might be JoJo and Jeremy might be the only drivers on the same team. I know some teams are running multiple entries under different names, possibly as well. I know some leagues with the really big teams, like X's Motorsports is a good example. I mentioned take up the look at Illusion, who's currently racing for High Caliber Racing. I mean, I know personally that HCR and X's Motorsports have worked together in the past. They were actually champions in Formula GT last season. Exodus High Caliber Racing. They had a fantastic season over there. So we know there's a lot of teams. A lot of these drivers have raced with each other as teammates and against each other as rivals. And that's the thing I love about this Gran Turismo community. Is that even though there's a lot of, a lot of pride on the line, a lot of competitiveness between that. A lot of these drivers are still pretty good friends behind the scenes of things. Some of them may even be teammates in other series as well. I mean, that's just the thing, is that these drivers are very adaptable. They can drive a lot of different car types, lots of different driving styles required with these cars. Because I mean, even with the field we have today, and this is actually, we're 2 laps away now from this lap where everybody is going to have to go ahead and pit for these not for the hypercars. Well, actually for most of the LMP1s as well, but the LMP3s, we're about 2 laps away from the mandatory pit stop to wrap up the stint. And once again, Lucian, I'm telling you, man, Lucian just needs to go ahead and flip out those AA batteries and put some, just go into reverse. But you're so close to the end, you can probably get away with that, but so we'll just have to see how this is going to go and play out. I think this hypercar field, we used to call them hypercars, the LMGT3 field is going to go ahead and I think this field is going to stay as it is. And as I am being notified in chat, there's a big bump on the formation lap off Stint 2 between Lambo and a blue Porsche. I don't think Stint 2 was already underway yet, but I guess it might be? Is Stint 2 officially underway yet? I don't think it is. I could be wrong though. I figured they would wait for this stint to wrap up as we are close. But I know the start time is at 11, which it is 11:01 right now in the United States of America and anyone on that Eastern Standard Time Zone. But yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know Stint 2 was on the way, so it might just immediately jump from one stream to the other. So you really won't have to wait any time at all. They're just waiting in the pits now for these drivers to go ahead and make the stop. And then I believe it is going to be go time for Stint 2. So these drivers are already waiting and ready to go. So you guys who are watching this really don't have to wait any time at all before the next stint gets underway. So yeah, so it's going to be 2 more laps before these drivers go ahead and make their pits to kind of wrap up their stints. It is actually going to be this lap, or this corner lap, if you are Tobias, who is currently on lap 52 out of 62. So he is actually going to go ahead and make a pit stop. He is almost out of fuel, so he kind of really needs to make that pit stop anyway. So the car in front dramatically slowed down, and there's nowhere. Yeah, so yeah, interesting, unfortunate incidents already happening in Stint 2. So yeah, this is going to be really interesting. A lot of trying to really push on fuel. Legend might actually be out of fuel. Yeah, I think, although he's right there at the 8, so it didn't matter. But yeah, I think Legend was actually out of fuel. Yeah, he was out of fuel. Wow. So yeah, out of fuel. That is dangerous. But yeah, I mean, these drivers are pretty much making the pits now. So yeah, so I think that we're basically wrapping up here pretty soon. So yeah, I think these drivers are just really going to make their final stops, and then I will go ahead and step away and allow the commentator for Stint 2 to go ahead and take my spot. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's race as much as I have. It has been an absolute blast from start to finish. Once again, I do want to go ahead and thank all the drivers for taking time out of the day to compete in this race. I know, I mean, a lot of these drivers, I mean, I know they're doing 2-hour stints and they'll catch a break, probably catch a nap as well. I mean, I certainly would, especially if I have to take another stint later on. But, I mean, hopefully all these drivers do get some food, hydrate, go ahead and take the rest of the game before getting ready for the next stint or getting ready to cheer their teammates on. But, and I really also want to thank everybody who is here today for tuning in and checking out the first stint. 11 likes at the moment, 16 viewers currently in this chat. Hopefully you guys will show the same love to all the stints coming up ahead. And it is now time for a lot of these drivers to make their mandatory pit stop. And they're waiting in the, yeah, so all these drivers are done, they're waiting in the pits. So yeah, so in the GT category, it is Tobias, Jeremy, Legend, Mackers, Lipkin, who's just made his way into the pits, Nolan, and then Pulvo and Cavano will go ahead and make their stops now. So yeah, I think we're just waiting on these. Alright, so Welsh will go ahead and take the victory in Stint 1. He's going to make his way into the pits now, and then wait there. R Debris will be the next one to go ahead and make the pit, or make his pit stop. So it may be a moment or two before we get going on the next stint of this race, but yeah, it's been a fantastic job here for all these drivers. I know they have been exhausted. And it is the final lap there for Illusion. He was given the final lap warning, so these drivers are all going to go ahead and make their pit stops now. Welsh is coming into the pits, and he is going to go ahead and sit there in the pits. So now R Debris is going to go ahead and make his way into the pits here very soon. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting, it'll be very interesting to see these stops happen, and then we'll see how Stint 2 goes, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so we're waiting on 3 more cars to come into the pits. We are waiting on JoJo, we are waiting on TCR, Kirby, and then Lucian. And then the grid will be set for stint number 2, and then it will be go time. For them, just waiting on those last few cars to make their stops. JoJo is about to go ahead and make a stop. R Debris has made his way into the pits now. JoJo will be soon behind. And then we have Kirby, who will be the next car, and then we have Lucian quite a ways away. So Kirby will go ahead and make his way into the pits as well. So pretty much all these drivers are in the pits. The only driver left is Lucian and the High Caliber Racing Toyota, the sole Toyota in this grid here today. And then we will go ahead and step aside and go ahead and get ready for the next stream. While we wait for Lucian to go ahead and finish it up, I will once again thank you guys so much for tuning on in. We had some tech issues at the beginning and a few microphone disconnects, but hopefully you guys did enjoy this stream. We will go ahead and pick back up with Stint 2 here momentarily. Want to make a massive shout out to all the drivers who have competed in Stint 1. Best of luck to you in your future stints, and best of luck to the driver in Stint number 2. Once again, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I was your host and commentator for Stint number 1. Thank you to Gold for operating the cameras for me today on this stream, and we will see you guys in the next stint. Until then, take care. Goodbye.